Frankie could definitely be one. And it's another reason why I hate this Team America twist because, is Frankie going to be more likely to backstab Derek, or is he going to be hesitant since they're on a team? I also read something because I felt that Donnie should have been the one that left. Like, I like Donnie, but Brittany has no one in this game. She has no idea what they're doing. Donnie has just as much, is one of the most insightful players in the game right now. He's clearly a competition threat. I read somewhere that it's a possibility that Derek might not want to even though Donnie's a bigger threat, Derek doesn't want to target him because he's afraid of the backlash that he'll get from America as far as Team America goes.
I mean, that's legit. That's totally legitimate.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys agree with that?
I do.
I can see that happening.
I definitely agree with it.
That's Derek is very controlling and needs to control the way he actually looks to us.
Oh, I mean, there was a part, I can't remember what it was, but I remember tweeting it was Derek's DR about Donnie being on the block, and I was like, dude, Derek's even doing damage control for America right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous, because he knows, you have to know, and especially with someone that, with his level of game awareness, he's like, okay, America probably isn't my biggest fan. I think as soon as he went on the block, Derek went from, 6 on Jokers to, 13. It was a total drop. And it's just America being, is nuzzling in Donnie's beard, I guess. But
yeah.
So I don't know. I think Derek. I feel like we talk about Derek's position every episode, but I don't know.
But when you're relevant, you're relevant. I can't. Yeah, we just.
Yeah, that's
you just
fair.
do you. And also going back to Donnie too being evicted, I agree. I feel like if I were in the house, I would want him gone week 1, week 2, week 3. If anybody sits next to Donnie, next to Final 2, they'll lose. I'm voting for Donnie to win. Everybody else is going to vote for Donnie to win. If Donnie makes Final 2, it's magic. It's great. He was in these house with all these young people and survived that long and made Final 2. Done. Donnie wins 7-0.
Over. I have no question to ask either of the final 2. I already cast my vote.
Exactly. Thanks, Julie. And I looked at my key twice, Big Brother Canada, so thank you.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree. I don't know. I think he's got to be a target. So I think we kind of slipped into the eviction episode.
Sure.
The only real non-game related things that I wanted to talk about was, of course, we've got the Hayden Nicole segment, which I don't think there's really anything to talk about. I am a little disappointed. I love both of these players on a personal level. I think Hayden has a strategic game, but I think he's so obsessed with just getting in bed with Nicole that he's willing to sacrifice that. And I think Nicole is probably a little more focused on him now, and that really sucks because you guys know how I feel about Nicole, but I don't know, cool for them. Frankie's family, very unfortunate news. I think I heard about it last night. The feeds it was a little depressing just because, for obvious reasons, so it really sucks. I think it was really cool though to see that Frankie just had his support. Frankie's family supported him and wanted him to continue to stay in the game. It reminded me back of season 2 when Monica, I think, had a family member that died in 9/11, and it's just a horrible tragedy. And you can only imagine how stressful that environment is already, and just to have a family member pass while you're in the game and just you can't really do anything about it. I don't know. It's a very hard situation to be in, and I definitely feel sorry for Frankie.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was a big part of the show, or it was a big moment in the show, so I felt like we had to at least talk about it.
Jacob, I want to thank you because you're the classiest one out of all of us to make that message. So thank you, and I will refuse to say any more because you're my publicist, and I'll get in trouble.
Well,
I wasn't gonna say anything mean or anything. I just didn't feel it.
Yeah, I saw your tweet, but I don't know. I sympathize with Frankie, and I hope you guys don't mind, but on behalf of Big Brother Basics, I would like to send my condolences to.
No, don't say Mike. Say our. Say our.
Our condolences.
No. If you're gonna do it, I have to have a Big Brother Basics. You can't take full credit for it. So
I'm just working on them jury votes, guys. I'm sorry. What can I say? So one thing that just made me guffawed, I was baffled. during the episode was when Brittany was trying to campaign, and she goes, "I gotta talk to the people that I think have the most influence in the house." And she sits on the couch with none other than Caleb, who's obviously the most influential house guest in the game. And I was just like, I think the only people that think Caleb is an influential player are the two people sitting on that couch, just Brittany and Caleb. And I think at that moment I was just kind of like, all right, I'm ready for Brittany to go. She obviously does not have a feel for what's going on. It was just, I thought it was funny just how wrong it was. Like, she's talking to the person who, for a good amount of time, was about to be sitting next to her on the block. It was ridiculous. Brittany gets evicted, another unanimous vote. We've had 3 out of 4 votes unanimous so far. Once again, of course, would have loved to see someone throw something out there, but, whatever.
For Zach, I would have thrown that hinky vote in there and been like, ooh, Caleb voted for her. Like, I would have done something.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's, I don't know. Hopefully, I'm really hoping that we see this game heat up. I know that's kind of what we said after Devin left, but, I mean, they're running out of people. An alliance that big, trying to cover so many people, they're going to have to start stepping on toes. And
I think I'm going to struggle within these next 2 weeks, just because I feel like that alliance is actually going to be in a good position for the next 2 weeks. They'll be able to get, irrelevant people out, like the floaters. Because honestly, the people that aren't in that alliance are awful at competitions, and they really do deserve to go home. So for me, it's probably I predict a very stale 2 weeks, but following that, I think it'll pick up.
But let me say that I don't like the phrase "deserve to go home" or "deserve to stay," because what makes anyone deserve to go home or deserve to stay more than someone else?
Is that all you have to say?
No. No, it's not. But I just need you to choose your words correctly or I'll come at you. That's all I'm saying.
You are in the house, you have to find any reasons and justifications that people deserve to stay and deserve to go.
Before we get into our segments, the last thing I wanted to talk about was the HOH competition. And I was really excited at first because finally we were getting a questionnaire HOH, be the first one of the season, dear God. And, a competition like this is known for kind of showing people's cards a little bit. Usually, yes. And I think I thought people were being a little stupid, if you ask me, during this HOH competition. First of all, Zach, pointing oh, don't put me up, don't put me up. What are you doing? What is this kid doing? And then I thought Christine putting up Donnie and Jocasta kind of said something. So I thought, I don't know. If I was Christine, I think the move was just to throw that as soon as possible.
Yeah, why?
She didn't, because I feel like Christine would have been safe no matter who won. Yeah. So at that point, what's the difference between getting out first than getting out 4th or 5th? So in a competition like that where it's going to show people's hands, a player like her, just in my opinion, should just be nope, don't want it. Here, there you go, Hayden. Take it. I don't want this HOH. I don't want to show anybody anything.
Exactly.
So, and then, okay, the big thing I want to talk about, and the people that I was watching the show with, didn't seem to think of it as a big deal. And at first I was super shocked. And then I was like, no, okay. But then thinking about it again, I was just like, I can't get behind this, was when it was Frankie and Derek. And Derek steps back, and it reminded me, I had a flashback to Big Brother Canada, where it was during a double eviction, and it was the same competition, and there were 2 players, and one player steps back, he doesn't want to win HOH, he looks at the other guy, tells the guy the answer, and waits for him to push it. That was what I thought Derek was doing at first, and essentially that is what he was doing. And I think that's such a stupid move, because first of all, you're showing that you have a good relationship with the other person up there. You're showing that you're comfortable with not being safe for the week. And you're also showing that you, it shows that you're trying to avoid getting blood on your hands. And I think that Derek can do what he wants and try and spice it up with like, oh, I want him to see pictures of his family and, go on that for as much as you want. But at the end of the day, you're playing a game for $500,000. We know how serious of a game player Derek is. Everyone else in the house should know that. It didn't make sense to me. And I really think it was a bad move on Derek, and it gave him even more attention than he needed.
My problem was that Derek was talking too much. Like, just pick your two people and step aside. Like, you don't.
There was too much talking. Period.
You don't need.
HOH.
Like Derek, he was downplaying his intelligence by saying, "Who were the last two who weren't picked yet?" He knew that it was Nicole and Zach. Like, he knows that those are the two people he's going to pick. Say the names. Step down. Sit down on your stool. If you want to say to Frankie, "Oh, do you want to get pictures of your grandpa?" No. If you want him to receive pictures of his grandpa, do what you do, but you don't have to say anything. Like, you can stand to the side, but you don't have to say the reason why. Like,
just throw it.
Just throw it.
Just throw it.
You could like listen to the
spectacle of it.
Listen to the country song and pick the wrong answer. Like, you could do that as well. Like, it's ridiculous.
I agree with y'all. The HOH competition became more of a performance where the acting was coming out. But I do think that the detonators were extremely obvious in their communication to each other. I mean, it wasn't like the people who got eliminated couldn't see them. Like, they were standing sitting right over there. So I would have been like, what's all this hand signaling and, silent mouthing of words?
It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And, like, they're lucky that it's a detonator HOH this week. And so literally there's nothing anyone outside of that group can do about it. So for the meantime, we'll probably see some DRs about it, but, there's not a damn thing they can do. And to talk about it in the house would just be suicide, I think. But it was just dumb. Like you said, it was just like it was a show. It was just a giant spectacle. Like, if I'm like Donnie or Jocasta, I'm sitting on the bench, I'm taking fucking notes. Like, look at all these people that are together. Like, they're wondering who's calling the shots, who's in the alliance. There you go. They offered that information to them on a silver platter, I think. But more, like, and Keith, you touched on it. You said, everything you said about the Derek thing I agree with. Aaron, what do you think about, like, Derek and the grandpa thing? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I already told you how I felt about that situation in the first place, and so I was like, move on, like.
It's just dumb. It's Derek. I feel like it just it's another.
But the thing is, it won't even make him a target because we're still working with recruits here, and you're not picking on.
I know, but and it's like it's nitpicks. They're nitpicks. I feel like we're nitpicking Derek a lot because he's playing a very advanced game, but it's like these little things that we don't think are gonna matter, but it creates a snowball effect. Like, it's gonna be a few little things, and you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just don't think it's gonna affect him. I feel like this is how Dan was in season 10 when he had that veto roulette thing, and that wouldn't fly in other seasons with other contestants. Like, I remember him having an interview with Dick Donato, and Dick was like, that was a ballsy move, but, like, if I had been in that house, like, I would have told you a thing or two. Like, that wouldn't fly, like, that type of thing wouldn't fly in there. So it's just kind of like, maybe Derek is really good at, or was really good at assessing this cast and how they would react and stuff, and then he can do these little ploys and all this stuff because he knows how they're going to react.
Yeah, and I think
that's good. That's really good for him.
And I also think, like you said, Jacob, Derek is playing a really advanced game, and it's really cool to see because it goes way beyond his relationships with the house guests. Like, even with the Team America, he knows how to kiss America's ass, and for me, it's very, very impressive because usually if I were in the house, I would utilize the DR as my place to vent, to take refuge. But he's still manipulating America. Like, he's still, like, saying the things that he needs to say to be the good old boy American, and I'm going to make Team America prosper. So his game, I don't know where he gets, like, the energy, but, like, he's doing an excellent job at doing his DRs right and doing the house guests right. Like,
but you have to give BB a credit where credit is due because they love to, manipulate or turn people one way or make them look a certain way on the show, including So,
But is it any different in the live feeds? Like, would you hear anything about Derek intentionally saying like, "Oh, I'm saying this so that like Team America won't be mad at me"?
No, I don't think he would say that on the live feeds.
But I mean, also they've talked about people watch the live feeds at all time. People can rewind the feeds.
And Derek knows that happens, so he's always on his best behavior. Which
I mean, he's very aware of what's going on. I think. I mean, he's definitely my favorite player right now in the game. It was just like. It was a very weird moment for me, and before I knew that like he was doing the grandpa angle, I thought he was just being really like just throwing it, and I was about to blow a gasket. I was so pissed because like you have your favorites and you want them to do well, and so just to see him do something like that was very, in a way, it comes off a little cocky.
Exactly.
And I didn't like that because you can't. It shows that he's in some ways comfortable, and I think the moment a player like him gets comfortable is the moment he gets evicted.
Exactly.
It's the moment that he's not following as many conversations as he was before, and then that's when his name starts getting brought up a little bit more. And then that becomes, oh, he is playing a really, really good game. And then that becomes, oh, next week needs to be the week we take out Derek, and that becomes his downfall. And so I guess that's why I had such a strong reaction to it, because I'm a huge Derek fan. I think he's playing an excellent game. And so seeing these early signs are very alarming, I think. And I think he just really needs to be careful, because we're only at 12 here. We're one more away from jury, possibly. And, when jury starts, I think that's a whole nother game. That's a whole new stage of the game. And he needs to be careful that he's not going to be one of those early casualties when the jury phase starts.
I really hope that the people on the sidelines were paying attention, because when Derek pulled his stunt, I'd be very, very keen, very, very receptive. Okay, Derek, Frankie, Zach, Christine. Derek is good with those three individuals. I thought I could trust Christine. I thought she had my back. Christine showed a lot of her cards in that competition when she did not need to. So,
I agree.
So for me, Christine kind of went down a tier gameplay-wise, because she competed in the dangerous competition when she does not need to show her cards. She needs to throw it. That's the competition you need to throw, girl. Like,
why would you be at the end of that competition if you knew you didn't want to win? Like, that just literally didn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with the game that Christine is playing. Going into that competition, she should have been trying to get out as early as she can.
Yep.
Since she was on the first one to go out, that was the perfect time.
That was a blessing. That was a blessing.
It really was. And so that was a little disappointing, because I do have a lot of hope for Christine. And it's starting, like, I feel like we're in this stage with Christine where we think she's a good game player, but does she have a game plan, or is she really just kind of riding these coattails? Like, we're still not completely sure what what the big picture for Christine looks like. So she was probably I still put her in the best position of the house, but I'm starting to lose a little faith in her as far as like
being a game
as
player.
Far as the long game goes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So,
and even with the interview afterwards, where Julie asked Derek like straight up, like, okay, so why'd you throw the competition to Frankie? Like, Derek was like, yeah, Grandpa, you can see pictures, and I'll be on slot for a week. Oh, so it's not that you'll possibly be nominated and evicted this week. It's that you gave up being on slot. Like that's the thing that you're concerned about. Like you're gonna be on slot for a week for Frankie rather than possibly get evicted for any head of household. Like, so you are saying a lot of things, Derek, and these people need to realize that he thinks that he's gonna be in the house for a long time. Like he's like, yeah, I'll be on slot this week. I'll still be here next week. Like. What are you saying? Like, when you throw a competition, you're jeopardizing your stay in the house. The people outside the alliance, that's their thought every single week. They feel in danger week to week. So for him to just be so like nonchalant, standing there, like he can give Frankie this gift, as well as knowing there's two other hungry people want HOH out behind him, but he feels the most confidence to still give Frankie this gift, and he's gonna feel like he's gonna be in a great position regardless. I mean, things better start clicking for people that Derek's in a great, amazing spot. All the signs are there, but I don't know if people are going to read into it as much as I have.
And it's frustrating for me because I think if you're going to throw something, the whole point of throwing a competition is to make it seem like you're not throwing the competition.
I'm gonna insert just like the best vegan foods are foods that don't taste vegan. Like
there you stole the words right out of my mouth.
So literally when you're throwing a competition, it's supposed to be seamless. It's supposed to seem like Caleb did a pretty good job when he was throwing the competition against Amber and Donnie for Battle of the Block. Like that's how you throw a competition. I mean, sure, Caleb is a hard competitor to begin with, so it's kind of like, but he made it believable. Derek just made a charade over nothing. Like, oh my gosh, if you're gonna throw it, just hit the buzzer before you even hear any lyrics of the song. Like, do a Dr. Will. Like, just hit it.
Hit it before they even start the song.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, the most awkward part of that the competition was when they would hit the buzzer and the song would just keep going. I was just like, oh God, please no.
Not only that, but why'd y'all pick country songs? Not that I'm hating on country, but it was just really random.
I don't know. Maybe they were trying to rig it for Caleb.
Or Nicole.
The Stealth RS Cowboy. Okay, well, you guys want to get into some segments?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't even know who I'm doing, to be honest. But
well,
I know what time it is.
You will by the time we get to it. I was thinking about doing Derek, but I feel like we've talked a lot about Derek and, what he did. And, I feel like anything I would say about Derek would just be a repeat. So when it comes to what you gonna do, girl, what you gonna do, I'm actually gonna pick someone that I feel like we've been talking about a little bit as far as their gameplay goes, but I haven't gotten the opportunity to do a segment on them. So I'm gonna go ahead and feature my segment around one of the half of Zanky and also one of our HOHs this week, Zach. What you gonna do, Zach? What you gonna do?
What you gonna do, girl? What you gonna do?
You are probably one of the most outspoken house guests in the game currently, and, at the beginning of the game. And now you're in a position of power. What you gonna do, Zach? What you gonna do? Here's my advice. I know you've got a lot of emotion running through you right now. You get to share a bedroom with your boyfriend. It's an amazing feeling, Zach. But here's my thing. You gotta keep your mouth shut. Zach, you are one of my favorite players personally, but strategically, I feel like you're playing a very sloppy game. You're talking when you don't need to talk to. You're saying things that don't necessarily need to be said. And I feel like you just need to lay low. It's okay that you were on the block. You moved past that. That day is over. What you need to focus on right now is not rubbing people the wrong way. You want the people that you're close to, most importantly Frankie, Cody, and Derek, to feel safe with you. They can't be afraid that you're going to go run your mouth to someone about some deal or alliance that you've made with them. That's how you get yourself backstabbed by your alliance. So, as far as this week goes, this is what I think you need to do. If you want to get Caleb out, that's fine. But make sure that the people in your alliance are okay with that. And if they're not okay with that, try and make them understand your reasoning. Don't blow up on them. Don't threaten them. Play the game, Zach. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're going to be in this game for a long time if you want to have any chance of winning. So you definitely need to just take it down a notch. America loves you. That's great. But if you want to make it to the end, you have to make sure that you don't get along with America, but you get along with the players that you're playing this game with. So make sure, whatever you do, just think about your move this week and make sure it's the best possible move, not just for the detonators, but for you ultimately. That is what you got to do, Zach.
I was waving back and forth, like, listening to your sermon, and I was just like, praise, like, speak on, preacher, sermon it up. Oh my God, there's so much truth to that. Listen.
I also wanted to mention, Zach, that out of the 4 weeks and the 4 different evictions, you're the only one that got eviction votes against the majority, which means that you're already, in some people's mind, they're already ready to send you home. So you really do need to get yourself together.
And that was against Pow Pow. You should be embarrassed.
You should be embarrassed.
You should be. You should be. Okay, so I think we all know who you're going after, Aaron.
And
So
if you need some assistance, I have no problem stepping in and stepping on his face.
Let's go ahead. Let's open the cage. I'm letting you out. I'm taking the leash off. Go at him.
Your daughter and your mama.
And your daughter and your mother are too. Your daughter and your mother. Your daughter and your mother.
And it's for Cody. Yes, Cody.
You're lucky!
HOH Rain. And my ex-team member. I used to be on your team, and I'm no longer on that team. So this is probably the last time we will be speaking to each other. But that's neither here nor there. I thought you being HOH would have been good. I thought you would have had a head on your shoulders. I mean, you were part of team. Let's not go after Brittany, Devin. Why were we going after Brittany? We like Brittany, Devin. And then you get HOH and you start going after Brittany. I'm sorry, Devin. Now it's time to go after Brittany. And, she's a threat to... I don't even know. I don't understand that. And you put next to Victoria, and I guess in that sense that was okay. Victoria's weaker. You want Brittany gone because she's such a huge threat. And then you still complain about your problems with Caleb. And this Caleb problem has been brewing for a long time. So if you and Caleb are already having a tiff, that's how you know that you probably should get rid of this person, because people who get mad at you for things like that are going to come after you eventually. But you stick to Brittany because she definitely is the biggest thing coming after you. And then later on, you have to deal with Caleb again at the Veto competition, going against what you, quote-unquote, Bomb Squad, your wishes are. And the funny thing is that you get mad at Caleb for going against your wishes when you're not even really aligned with him. You don't even really consider him, you're ready to throw him away whenever you need him, but it's wrong for him to not do whatever you want. I mean, that's just kind of hypocrisy, in my opinion. So he does betray you in a sort of way and go for money then to keep your nomination the same, to stop you from having to make another nomination. And you have all the ammunition you could possibly have, out of a BB handbook of who you should put for your replacement nominee, because you can't put any of these people up because they're your buddies in your alliance, and you don't put them up, even though you said that you should, even though you promised Donnie that you wouldn't put them up, even though Zach had your back. And then you cry about it. There's no reason for you to cry about something that you definitely made a decision of. And then you go to Donnie afterward and you say that you didn't, it wasn't just I didn't just do this, I thought about it. You can't, this, and makes you look so terrible, not only to America, because if you thought Donnie was popular in the house, you know he's popular to America, so you know America's already, you better probably watch Joker's updates, because I'm sure your number went down, dramatically. You probably weren't even up there to begin with. I also think that you probably messed up big time if Caleb gets HOH. If Caleb gets HOH next week, you're probably going on the block. And we are getting to that point where we're getting less house guests, so it's probably going to be a single HOH, which means you're probably going to stay on the block unless one of your boys wins POV or yourself and saves you. And it just doesn't seem like you are really thinking about the game like Donnie told you, or yourself. You're thinking it for an alliance. But there are only 2 slots out of 2 slots in the final 2. And it can't be Cody, Frankie, Derek, and Zach all in the final 2. Only 2 of you can be there. And I'm sure it won't be 2 of you. It's going to be 1 of you and Victoria or Jocasta, somebody who's going to get dragged along. Because come jury time, you're all going to be thinking about how big of a threat the other one is to you all. So I just feel like, Cody, you messed up a bunch. I think you don't really know what you're doing in this game. I think your best addition to this game is just to go back to flirting with Amber, because we all like seeing Caleb cry about his fiance flirting with some other man in the house and how disrespectful you are to her. And good luck in your soccer career, I guess. I mean, I don't know what else to say to you, because I don't think you deserve to win HOH or win this game. And you can jump in if you have anything else you want to say.
So, Erine, you talked about his daughter and his mama. I'll talk about his father and his son. So,
Okay.
I'm really upset, and I'm obsessed with this week. Oh my gosh. Cody. Like, I put my hair up for you. I put some Vaseline on. I'm ready to go in. But at the end of the day, you're not worth it. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive into my segment. I would love to just, like, you know, have this be the conversation where I go in on Jessie after this cake fiasco. But I'm going to go ahead and let Libra do what she does best. So it's time to serve up some cake.
Anybody want cake?
I, was having issues trying to figure out what was the most awkward moment. But I think I found one. And I'm surprised it didn't hit me sooner. And I'm just flabbergasted that we're in a season where some sort of universe that it was humanely possible for Victoria to win a power of veto. For me, that is hella awkward. And she does it by doing what she does best, and that's doing absolutely nothing. She won the power of veto by doing absolutely nothing. She made it to the final round, so kudos, Victoria. I was starting to have some sort of feelings about you because I haven't seen you until this episode. But then in the final round against Caleb, you get a 0. Like, you know how to kick the ball. You made it in baskets the 4 different times you did it before that round. And then you choke in the final round against Caleb and you get a score of 0. Like, how does that happen? How do you still, despite getting a 0 in the final round, get the power of veto? Now, on top of that, you win the power of veto, right? And usually, somebody has something to say to be shown on to us folk that watch only the episodes. Your footage inside the DR was not used at all, and you were completely irrelevant despite being on the block and winning the power of veto. Like, what do you need to do, girl, to get some airtime? I mean, you, quote-unquote, ran that veto meeting, and I was surprised you were able to recite the words that they told you to say. Like, now you must name a replacement nominee. So very good job for getting that out of your system. But you, Victoria, it hurts me, like, to try to develop an opinion about you when you are completely and utterly Big Brother basic, like extraordinary, like so regular, like it kills me. Like, how are you in this house? Not only that, in the eviction episode, you have the audacity during the live eviction to cast your vote and try to have some sort of opinion on Brittany. Like, okay. You're trying to, say what you need to say to vote to evict this girl. I mean, I understand it. She didn't want to sleep in your bed, and therefore she is untrustworthy and needs to go. So I definitely see your logic there. But if you had that type of feelings for Brittany, like, to vote her out, then where's your goodbye message? Where's your types of feelings? Where's your juicy, delicious goodbye message that they can show to Brittany that will give her some type of reaction? Apparently it wasn't good enough because they just still didn't use that shit. So, Victoria, winning veto is hella awkward. I am ashamed and disgusted for the rest of the house guests that let that happen, because if you lost this competition, Victoria, none of y'all deserve the $500,000. Can we, cut that prize down by 2? Like, can we make this $250,000? Because none of the house guests deserve to win in a world where Victoria has that gold necklace around her neck. So, I am closing up shop today. Nobody will be eating cake. Y'all can have some vegan-ass bullshit, fresh fruit down the street, and I can go walk in my stilettos back home, because I'm done. This episode this week, extra, over, finished.
Should we make Big Brother Basic T-shirts with Victoria on it? Like, you think she might be our mascot?
She can definitely no. Like
Let's work on that.
We definitely should not do that because I don't want to associate myself with that.
That's fair.
I'm calming down from my hype. So yeah, I'm
well, let's go ahead and let's try and wrap up this episode. But I want to just get your thoughts. So we have Zach, Frankie, HOH. Who do you think should be sweating this week?
All I know is that Team Keith is wrecking up shop. I mean, I still have all 5 of my players. But last week, Frankie nominated 2 people from Team Keith as well. So, I'm probably going to self-explode just like the detonators detonating my bomb squad. So it'll be a Team Keith casualty I'm predicting this week.
I don't know. I think Caleb or Amber, should be sweating. I think people like Zach is going to be really foaming at the mouth to make a move. I think it's going to be an interesting week because I don't think Frankie would want to get rid of Caleb, but I think Derek might be ready to get rid of Caleb. So I think it's going to be a big test of who really has control over Zach.
Yeah.
It'll really annoy me if Derek is ready to get rid of Caleb because I don't understand what 1 week does. Like, it really does nothing. I mean, because you could have gotten rid of Caleb this week and then get rid of Brittany next week if she's the competitor that we've all known her not to be that strong.
But
especially in this competition, she wouldn't have won. They would have kept putting her back up there to answer questions.
And what was so funny is that when Frankie justified why Brittany needs to go this week, he was like, "Brittany's going after everyone." Bitch, everybody's going after everyone. Isn't that the point of Big Brother? Everyone's going after, that doesn't make any sense. This is the last man standing competition, or last woman standing. Only one person's gonna win. If you're saying she's going after everyone, guess who's next? You!
I really feel that Brittany was more so would go for who she thought was, who she thought was the biggest, the big head honcho.
Yeah.
Which she would think would be Caleb, Derek, or Frankie. So I think he was more afraid for himself, which is totally legit, but that's who I think Brittany was actually going for. Cody, Zach, they would have been like a replacement nom at best if she needed it. But.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll just have to see. People watching, who do you think is going to be in the hot seat this week? Not just for going up on the block, but going home next Thursday. So put your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure when you're watching the show on Sunday that you hop on Twitter and live tweet. All 3 of us love tweeting with you guys during the show, interacting, making jokes, having a good time. So you definitely want to make sure you're a part of that. Also, stay tuned for when we dissect the HOH's nominations, as well as the Battle of the Block winner. Should be a lot of stuff going on, so we'll just have to see. The only thing you can be sure of is that we'll be staying basic.
Stay basic.
So you should stay basic too.
That was really, really smooth. I enjoyed that. Thank you, Jacob.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for having me.